people so deeply connected in this lifetime.
Yeah.
I felt great
The
appreciation.
satsang.
Yeah, yeah. So I did not feel it was something coming out of my brain. I know I'm good at motives, and I didn't feel like it was anything coming out of my brain that had any idea of needing to be acknowledged because I was thinking that or anything like that. It was a moment. I was just in a moment of, wow, all these people.
Wow.
Yeah. So that to me is soul. How is that not soul?
Yeah.
And you saying, you
It's
said Maharaji. You said, I'm thankful I met Maharaji, right? I mean,
yeah.
certainly that can be said in a, I'm thankful I met you. How about that? Without you, I wouldn't have met Maharaji. I'm very thankful that I have said that. Other people have said that to me too, and I take it directly from their soul.
Okay. All right.
Do I
All
win?
right.
Okay.
Okay. The moment in Massachusetts was soul.
Okay. That's it. But now it's
And it,
acknowledgement. It's acknowledgement from you, and now it may be. Oh my God! Maybe it's my psyche. I was waiting for this acknowledgement. Oh God, this is so great, Hank. So great hanging out with you today. How about talk about soul? Can we do a little meditation around? Like I say, I was in this book with Larry and Bing and Kenshi and back in the day, and his incredible descriptions of the details of hanging out with Maharaji. I was just in that space. So how about a continuation of that, a little meditation? Um, in our podcast here, by the way, on the Be Here Now Network, Ram Dass's Here and Now podcast that I introduce, and happy to be with you.
happy to be with you. So, soul is in us. And the soul is another plane of consciousness. You don't notice it. Now, you get into the soul from the heart. The soul is coming from God. Coming from the one, and therefore it has love in it, compassion, peace, joy, consciousness, That's what you and I are. That's what you and I are. Deep in the deep in the soul, we have what the Hindus call the Atman. That is a combination of the One, the Guru, and the soul. I'm sorry, the self. Self. Oh boy. Inside the 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 soul, it's all love. It's all love. You're love. I'm love. My wheelchair is love. The, the building I'm sitting in is love. Computers that we communicate with is love. Is love. It means everything has everything is manifestation. Manifest from love, from the One. Just love. Just love. Just love. You're swimming in the ocean of love. 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 Joy. Joy. Joyful. 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 Consciousness. 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 Peace. Feel the peace. Feel the peace in the soul. The peace within. And the compassion. Everywhere, every being you look at, you have the compassion for. Because you are identified with your soul. And with that identification, then you recognize other people as souls. And the soul feels compassion and love for other people. Maharaji said to me, love everybody. And I thought, I can't do that, Maharaji. So a few minutes later, he got me nose to nose, and he Ram Dass, love everybody and tell the truth.
Bless.
And he was directing me to my soul because my soul loves everybody. And tells the truth. It's just wonderful to be in your soul, to be in that perception. The universe is just love. The stars are love. All of it, all of it, all of it. And you are love. You are love. Wow. 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 Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yum, 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 yum. Oh.
We thank you, Ram Dass. I am thankful for today. Going back to gratitude, this is a purely thankful moment for me, okay? I am thankful to hang out with you like this in this space in our soul pod. And I'm thankful for that soul pod that happened in Massachusetts, and I'm thankful for this moment. And Yeah, our
And
100th.
right now, we are talking soul to soul.
Yeah. For our 100th episode of Ramdas Here and Now. 100. It's unbelievable. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you for today. Really, I do appreciate you taking time to hang out with me. And so, namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
Great. Hi, everyone. This is Raghu, and this is Ramdas Here and Now. And this is a bit of another new program from Ramdas's Here and Now podcast series. Although we did do one, we've done a couple of these extemporaneous chats that I've had with Ramdas. And he suggested, he thought it was a lot of fun, but I was really happy to be able to spend the time with him. And he said, hey, why don't we do this every Sunday? And I'm like, I don't know about every Sunday, Ramdas, but uh, let's try and do more of these. So we had this great chat where he was very, very, as he usually is, honest about where he's at, what's been going on, including what's been going on with his body. He said he's getting a little old. I said, yep, we know that. In fact, we all are. This is a wonderful talk, chat with Ramdas around aging and dealing with suffering and pain. And then we went into this little discussion around the Tibetan Book of the Dead, some commentary by John Woodruff that I had found. And it's pretty interesting. And Ramdas relates his own thoughts about it and what he has been connecting with in terms of the eventual transition that he and all of us are going to be going through. And then, and we also talked about the a little bit about the so-called differences of Bhakti Yoga path and the path of non-duality or Buddhism, and devotion, which was also a wonderful thing. I had found this thing, which I actually did on a mind rolling podcast with my buddy David Silver around Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche and his uh, emotive reaction to his meeting with the incarnation of his teacher. Um, so I hope you enjoy it, and we will do more of these. And by the way, please continue your support. We really appreciate it for the Be Here Now Network, and of course Ramdas.org, and what Ramdas puts out there, and all of the wonderful media we have from so many years. And you can go to particularly Be Here Now Network because it's a new network. I mean, we're 4.5 months into it, and we do need that support for the network. A lot of people working on this, and of course Jack and Cornfield and Joseph Goldstein and Sharon Salzberg and Krishna Das and Lama Surya Das and myself and beautiful guest podcasts. Danny Goldberg is there, of course, doing his rock and rolls, and Chris Grosso. Um, so there's a lot of rich material, and we have this amazing new um, smartphone app, Heart Mind, one word. Please go and download it. It'd be great. So continue the support as much as you can, and we appreciate all of the feedback that we get, which really helps us to develop content that we hope will help everyone. So here's my chat with Ramdas. Ram Dass, here and now.
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And Maharaj is present. My body aches, pain, and as it gets painful, I notice my identification with my body increases. I'm beginning to I'm old.
Yes.
I'm
How are you dealing?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that when you start to identify more with your body when pain comes? How are you dealing with that?
It's my mind. I witness the thoughts. And I love the pain. And I surrender. And it's all karma. Like karma.
Now,
Yeah.
when you say when you do get pain and you're witnessing the pain, so that you're going deeper inside yourself to watch the play of this pain. So there is a view from another vantage point that's not caught in the mind, as you just said. And then you say, I love the pain. What exactly do you mean? Is there a way in which you're engaging with the pain within a certain vibratory process inside yourself?
Yeah. Well, the witness is part of the soul. And the soul loves everything. And I witness the pain, but the pain, my attention to my toes, well, it just pulls back my attention. Pulls back my attention. Pulls back. In my urinary system, pulls back. And then I have no pain.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh.
It- it's my attention.
So by entering into the witness and entering into the center of spiritual heart, soul, however which way you want to call it, that allows for the absorbing of the attention out of the source of pain, in which case your feet. In in which case you were talking about your feet as being a center of attention. I
Yeah.
know that at night that's a difficult thing for you because of the stroke, that it's affected that part of your body. So that process allows for you to absorb the attention into this, into the perspective back that goes in back of the
Yeah.
identification.
The perception.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was I thought, since we're all a little bit closer to the old transition process, and I found this book that I haven't looked at in quite some time, and I had made some notes in it because it's the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but it's basically what I was really inspired by was a foreword to it, not the actual. It's just commentary on it. Do you remember Sir John Woodruff? I guess he was
Yeah.
yeah, and he had some really. I thought we could reflect on some of the things he's saying. I'm sure there's some stuff in here that you've been talking about, and partly there's definitely things that I know we've discussed before. You've talked about in your talks. Um, so these are just excerpts, and they're not in any particular order. But he's talking about what happens when a human becomes aware that he is dead. Uh, as he carries over with him the recollection of his past life, he at first still thinks that he has such a physical body as he had before. So I guess people do think, after they've died, they don't realize that they have left that body. But what it is, he says, is in fact a dream body, the same as a person sees in their dreams. It's an imagined body which is neither reflected in a mirror nor casts a shadow, and which can do such wonders as passing through mountains and the like, since imagination, with a capital I, is the greatest of magicians. Isn't that? I find that fascinating. Alongside
Wait,
it is an imagined
wait a second.
yeah.
I lost you.
So
Imagination.
yeah. So the person who dies, right, still feels that he has a body. And in fact, it's a dream body. It's the same kind of relationship with the body that you have when you have a dream and you see your body or you feel your body. And it's neither reflected in a mirror nor does it cast a shadow. And it can do
Yeah, I get
wonders.
that.
Yeah. Imagination
Yeah.
is the greatest of magicians, which also harks to what you talk about all the time about imagination in terms of the way that you relate with Maharaji. So this is more substantiation to the reality of that, the power of imagination. Um, Even in life on earth, a man may imagine that he has a limb where he has none. Long after a man's leg has been amputated above the knee, he can feel his toes, or is convinced that the soles of his feet are tickling. In the after death state, the deceased imagines that he has a physical body, though he has been severed therefrom by the high surgery of death. I love that line. The high surgery of death. right? So, what a role
He,
imagination
he,
plays.
he's English.
Yeah, yes. And this is from, I think, this has got to be written right in the earlier part of last century, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then further, there's some interesting things here. Further, at length, the deceased passes out of the bardo dream world into a womb of flesh and blood, issuing thence once more into the waking state of earth experience. This is what in English is called reincarnation or rebirth in the flesh. The Sanskrit term is samsara, that is, rising and rising again in the worlds of birth and death. Nothing is permanent, all is transitory. In life, the soul complex, that's what he's referring to as that which goes from one incarnation to another. A soul complex. Have you ever heard that term before? Yeah? No. It's in life, the soul complex is never for two consecutive moments the same, but is like the body in constant change. There is thus a series of successive and, in one sense, different states which are in themselves but momentary. There is still a unifying bond in that each momentary state is a present transformation representative of all those which are past, as it will be the generator of all future transformations potentially involved in it. This process is not interrupted by death. That's a There's something there that really kind of helps explain how impermanence is not a scary thing, right? How the fact that if we are a soul complex that is constantly moving and shifting by virtue of the impermanence of life, but it's a unifying bond in that each momentary state is a transformation representative of all those which have passed. And so when the body dies, it's not interrupted by the death of the body. Somehow this made tremendous sense to me. Change continues in the skandhas, the constituents of the organism, other than the gross body, which has been cast off and which undergoes changes of its own. But there is this difference. The after death change is merely the result of the action of accumulated past karma and does not, as in earthly life, create new karmas for which a physical body is necessary. Isn't that interesting? A physical body, he's saying, is necessary for the creation of new karma. There is no breach of consciousness, but a continuity of transformation. That's like the central thing, which seems to me to be the most reassuring about this as potential reality. I mean, we're trusting these people that they're the Tibetans, right? The Tibetan Book of the Dead. Um, the death consciousness is the starting point, followed by the other states of consciousness. Karma at length generates a fully formed desire or mental action. This last is followed by the consciousness taking up its abode in a suitable matrix, whence it is born again as a birth consciousness. What is so born is not altogether different from what has gone before, because it is the present transformation of it and has no other independent existence. So there's no breach of consciousness, but a continuity of transformation based on this soul complex, which is another word for what the Buddhists call Buddha mind and what we in the Bhakti tradition or Hindu tradition call soul.
So,
There cannot be any
yeah.
difference, right? I mean, this is kind of gets the closest to explaining how there is no differences here. And then
Differences from what?
from the Buddhist concept of no soul, of Buddha mind is that which is the constituent that moves into the new incarnation, into incarnation after incarnation. Soul, we're saying. So this is getting close to an explanation to me of the reality that supersedes both of those concepts. There is no breach of consciousness, a continuity of transformation. Anyhow, I really love that explanation. And then, um, if the series of conscious states are determined by past karma, it may be asked how that liberty of choice exists, which the text assumes by its injunctions to the deceased to do this or to avoid that. Right? When you sit with a dying person, you're repeating all kinds of different prayers: let go, become one, do this, do that. In the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche, of course, many people are using that these days. I did it with my father and my mother and my friend who died just a number of months ago. No doubt. So injunctions to the deceased to do this or to avoid that. No doubt, even in one individual, there are diverse tendencies, but the question still remains. If the karma ready to ripen determines the action, then advice to the accused is useless. If the soul, quote unquote, is free to choose, there is no determination by karma. Interesting. Here the answer appears to be twofold. Yeah. Apart from what is next stated, the instructions given may by their suggestion call up that one of several latent tendencies which tends toward the action counseled. Further, and this is the best part of the whole deal, this system allows that one soul, by the way, he's calling it soul. He's not calling it Buddha mind, Sir John.
Yeah.
One soul can help another. So there are prayers for an application of merits to the deceased. Just as we find in Hinduism or in Catholicism, the Requiem Mass, and in Islam, the Muslim Fatiha. In this and other matters, one mind can, it is alleged, influence another otherwise than through the ordinary sense channels, whether before or after death. Wow. There is also a tendency to overlook collective karma and its effects. An individual is not only affected by his own karma, but that of the community to which he belongs. Have you ever thought about that? I mean, that made me think about who we are together and the way in which we interact with each other will have some influence, perhaps. Our collective karma will have some influence on our individual karma. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. But I've been calling that the soul
pod. Right. Soul pod, right?
the soul pod.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. That's why. Yeah, there's a few things in here that reminded me of some of the things that you have said, and certainly this collective karmic effect would be that soul pod.
Yeah.
Um, and I also I like his thing about the soul complex. It makes it more subtle as to the reality because of to me the reality of impermanence. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, we all experience that. So with that reality, there is that constant change. So it allows for whatever that thing we want to call. We want to call it a soul, that goes through incarnations. You want to call the Buddhists call a Buddha mind or clear mind or whatever. There is that constant. It's not immutable. It's mutable to change, obviously, and so that process then would lend itself to say it doesn't stop when the body when the body goes, and so anyhow, I thought that was somewhat reassuring. Are these thoughts that have you been working with this kind of stuff in you just said you're old, eh?
Yeah, yeah. This is stuff that I'm doing with Mirabai
You're
for
right.
the
That's
book on
right.
dying.
Right. Right. Yeah, everybody for everybody out there, Ram Dass and Mirabai Bush are working on a wonderful book on the process. It's called well, it's not called anything yet. I don't think it has a title, but it's certainly around death, and it's around. Uh, I love that, of course. From what I'd love is what Emmanuel said to you a long time back. Your disembodied friend. Um, what is it? Death is. Um, God, I forgot it. What does he say?
Said, death is like taking off a tight shoe.
Right, right.
And then he said,
I know what he said. We're gonna get that. I know. I got it, Ram Dass. I got it. That's because I got my computer in front of me. Dying. I'm cheating. Uh, Dying is absolutely safe.
absolutely
That's what.
safe. And
Absolutely safe. And these passages from the commentary by Woodruff, they seem to lend that air about them of
yeah,
of relaxing a little bit on that. But in your day-to-day life, talk about that though. In your day-to-day life, I know you're dealing with aging and pain and so on and so forth. Um, and you're spending a good amount of time on your own. And you opened this whole conversation with the fact that Maharaji's presence is there. What kind of work are you doing related to transition?
everything is in Maharaji's hands. I got into the pain is palpable. And then I started to think about that's the ego. And I witness the ego. But I am soul. And my karma yoga is my pains and aches.
Mm.
And I, as soul complex, I love them. I love them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What about in actual practice? is there anything that you're doing, I guess, in a meditative way? I mean, I'm only thinking about myself and what I try to do day to day. At some point through, at, in my meditation, is to picture Maharaji in my mind's eye, inside, in my third eye, and just bring in his vibration, his ineffable vibration, through either easily seeing him, because all of the times that we were with him, it's easy to bring him in, that physical thing, and then that turns into the real Maharaji, and just absorb into that as a way of practicing when that actual moment comes to transform potential fear. Is that something that makes sense to you, or do you do anything like that in terms of practice?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I look at a picture of his incarnation